We're here at La District with the designer Lionel Ohayon of ICRAVE. You're the founder and CEO of ICRAVE?
That's correct.
And so we just opened up here. When did you start designing this? How long ago?
I think this project's been in the office for about 2 years.
Okay. You've done projects all over the country and world, but I think the meat packing is a lot of your work. Can you describe some of the projects we would recognize up there, like the fish restaurant, Catch?
Yeah, Catch is a very popular restaurant. Interesting space. It's second, third, and fourth floor, which is unusual for a restaurant, which had its own challenges, really converting an office space into a hospitality space. STK is in the meatpacking district, which a lot of people know. We did a lot of projects during the sort of nightclub rush, which is really how we started. We really started doing
nightclubs. What was that, 07, 08?
ICRAVE's, the meatpacking rush was really 07, 06, 07, 08. There's a project there called Provocateur, which is a kind of like a bottle service nightclub and lounge, which we did over there.
And then you've done casinos, and you've done the JFK JetBlue terminal. That was your project.
Correct. And if you've been around New York and seen iPads in airports, all that work is work that we've been doing.
So no one likes to be stereotyped or pigeonholed, but can you describe your style in any way?
You know, what's interesting about iCrave, what we try and we talk about a lot, and we talk to clients a lot, is that we don't really prescribe to a style. We're kind of focused on the project and what the client's looking for. So if you see a project like Provocateur, or right now we're working with Sloan Kettering on a hospital, 2 hospitals actually. We're really looking at what the client needs, not necessarily what we think the style is going to be. So I would say we're pretty adaptive that way.
I notice you use a lot of curves. I mean, you don't like straight lines. You like it looks like natural waves or water. Or is that something common with you, or no?
There have been a lot of curves in our work. I can't exactly tell you why, but yeah, there have been.
And so lighting, how do you approach lighting? In a 30-second review, you look at the space. What do you decide to do? Colors, not colors, neon.
I mean, we have mantras at the office, and lighting is everything is one of the mantras. So you can do whatever you want to a project, but if you don't get the lighting right, it's just not going to work, right?
That's why I'm asking, because I don't know anything about architecture, but I've noticed that upstairs there's a project that didn't get lighting proper, and it's ruined it.
There is a quality of light and a temperature of light that people look good in, and there are colors and temperatures of light that people do not look good in. What's happened recently is that LED lighting, which is much more efficient lighting, has taken over our world, right? The architectural world and the world we live in. And there are codes, energy codes, that require you to use less energy in spaces you design. So I think there's been a lot of challenges for designers recently to find a way to use this new lighting in a way that still makes people look good, right? And it still makes the room feel warm. And people react very clearly to light. And it's something that we're very sensitive to. So
here you're still using old-fashioned incandescent bulbs behind you. But over there you got LED, I believe, right?
That's neon, but there's LED in there, right? Even though it looks warm, there's new technologies to make LED look like incandescent lighting. But we will always, not always, but a lot of times in our projects you'll see old-fashioned lamps, right? Or you'll see incandescent lighting where we think it's important.
So I think you kind of answered. I was going to ask you, when you address a project, what's your biggest concern and so forth? I think lighting's important. What else? When you
experience, right? We want to know what we think the actual takeaway will be. What will be the emotional response that people will have? What will be the memory, right? We believe memories make places. So if you can create a memory, you can create a place, and that placemaking is super important. This project specifically, the idea of creating a venue as large as this, with as many venues connected to each other, and make it actually resonate for the neighborhood, was really, really important for us. So for us, we really want to know, our projects always start with who are the users, who are the stakeholders, and what will the experience be, and what are we trying to get out of it, and then we'll figure out what the design is.
How'd you go about this one? Because there's the community for the grocery store or the high-end produce that'll be open in the back. Then you have the fine dining restaurant, and then you have the business worker. A whole bunch of people using this. How did you mix those all together?
So you know, what's really interesting about this project for us is that we did the design, we did the branding, we did the packaging, right? We did the website, we did the opening event. We really were involved in all the parts of the experience. That we did. We worked on the uniforms. We worked with the people who were putting the music up. So we really had a very, very clear idea of what experience we were trying to deliver. What interested me the most about Battery Park is that we know a lot of people who live down here, and people love living down here. But Battery Park has had a hard time, I think, in neighborhoods of New York, getting that neighborhood quality to it. Right?
We had nothing until recently.
Right. So with respect to Battery Park, when we started this design maybe 2.5 years ago, we're like, what is it that we're trying to do? And for us, what we were trying to do is give place to the neighborhood. So we have an opportunity right now for people who live here to create a sense of place, right? That it becomes a neighborhood, right?
Yep.
Which is where the name of the district came from.
Okay.
We had a lot of names that were centered around neighborhood, the block, the district, right? But what we see is that flowing from the south way into the Winter Garden, or flowing from the Winter Garden down towards the south, is a completely different usership, right? Different stakeholders, different reasons why people use it.
It was designed that way on purpose.
Yeah.
The World Financial Center bisects it on purpose. They wanted to
sort of get the populations into. So we really looked at these three populations, which were the people who live in the neighborhood. How do we make the service a neighborhood? And if we did, we believe that it would stick. It would be something that people would want to use.
Well, that's why the market's so brilliant. That's a great idea. When that opens,
faces that.
There's a huge demand for grocery stores here. We don't have good grocery stores, and if you can get quality meat and produce, that's going to get the community here to feed the other higher end. Yeah.
Right. And then you have the people who work here. 7,500 people who work here, and you have a strong tourist population that comes through this area. And then what you really want is to contextualize it into the fabric of New York City, so New Yorkers see it as one of the places that they put on their own map. And so we really looked at those four constituents as stakeholders.
Well, let's go walk through and have you show us some things.